And another bit of history resurrected on July 4th in the year 1187. A battle unfolded here in the Middle East that saw Christian crusader armies defeated and paved the way for Muslim conquest of Jerusalem. Over 800 years later, dozens gathered to reenact the fight at the Horns of Hattin. Uri Shapira went to see it for himself.
After a long, fierce battle, the Muslim forces of Saladin conquered the Horns of Hattin, defeating the Crusaders and putting an end to the Kingdom of Jerusalem. For most of us, this news is not new at all, as it took place nearly 830 years ago in the 12th century AD. But for those who attended the historical reenactment near the northern Israeli city of Tiberias, this event is not just history.
You can say it was the last 3 days in the history of an entire country, which was here in Israel in the 12th century. This story is also very much attached to the landscape, to roads, so it's a combination of the two. Why we are attracted to medieval times? I suppose it was a magical era.
Dozens of history buffs came from Israel and abroad to celebrate and commemorate the Battle of the Horns of Hattin, one of the most iconic battles in the history of the region. The participants, mostly of Russian background, are holding this event for the 6th time. According to the organizers, it is a long and complicated operation which begins soon after the last reenactment finishes.
First of all, we study the period using historic sources. We make the costumes, we get the tents, we buy weapons and shields from abroad.
Historical reenactments are not typical in Israel, but are widespread around the world, with the reenactment of the Battle of Waterloo to World War II combats. Dr. Nick Slop, a battlefield expert, thinks reenactments are not just for fun, but a useful tool to study the period.
Quite often we find things we don't know what they're used for. For instance, horse furniture, pieces that go on horses, bridles and things like that. There's lots of examples where what we call experimental archaeology, that is actually living, gives us a great insight into what actually happened.
This year, however, this reenactment also has a political aspect, following a government plan to destroy some of the area and build a Druze town at the site. Fans and experts are not giving up and are ready for another Battle of Hattin, this one to save an area which was untouched for nearly 2,000 years.
2,500 families are going to live here. It's quite a lot of population which is going to be in this landscape. I oppose not the Druze city, but the location. I think there are other alternatives.
I think it is a national disgrace, simple as that.
Despite the political tension in Israel and the hot weather this year, participants enjoyed this colorful event. After the battle is finished, the struggle to save this unique area continues, this time in front of Israeli authorities.